Welcome once again to the BizLife Podcast. My name is Mike Bindrup. I'm with Reno Extension, small business education program, and we are here in lovely North Las Vegas, Nevada. And we're recording here live today in our studio. Grateful to have you here with us today. Today we're going to be talking to a good friend of mine, Brenda Gayle Bryant from the Nevada Small Business Development Center. And looking forward to it. So welcome, Brenda.
Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Happy to have you on, and I've known Brenda for a long time. I just want to say we were talking about this. Brenda's like, it feels like eons, right? But it's all good. It's been 15 years.
Yep, when we were still doing hieroglyphics on the sides of the caves.
I think it was cuneiform. That's all good. Yeah, so like about 15 years when I met Brenda, and it was you were our QuickBooks trainer teacher.
I was a contractor for the SBDC.
Yep. And I took your class. I learned something. And I was like, this is pretty good. She's pretty good. She's a great trainer. By the way, Brenda is a great trainer, great facilitator.
You can cash the check.
The check cashes. It's good. And then I ended up being your business advisor for a little while, like a long while.
Yep, 15 years.
15 years. And she only fired me twice. Right?
We had good times.
Good times. Absolutely good times. So Brenda is with the the Nevada Small Business Development Center, and they're an SBA resource partner. And we'll ask you to introduce yourself. And please tell your whole sordid history. We want to hear the whole thing.
In 30 seconds or less, my name is Brenda Gayle Bryant. I am the owner of the Gayle Group. It specializes in financial literacy because we spend a lot of time teaching people how to get the skill and knowledge they have, to get the ability to get a job. We never tell them what to do with what they get from the job, which is money. So that's my business, and that's what Mike was helping me with. Mm-hmm. And as a small business advisor, I am a certified business coach and trainer. I'm certified through Harvard. Mm-hmm. I have the scars to prove it. And I'm also a financial coach and trainer, and I'm certified in that also. So what I bring to the table is some basic academic knowledge, some practical experience, and a lot of years.
Yeah, and a lot of years. That's all good. Well, thank you for joining me here today. Let's talk about the Small Business Development Center, and it's an organization that you currently work for. I used to work for too, near and dear to my heart. I think it has a great mission and helps a lot of people, especially in the state. So tell us a little bit about the Nevada SBDC.
Well, the SBDC as a whole is nationwide. So in your community, you can find us. Mm-hmm. Okay, all you have to do is just go online, put in the information about where you are, and something will pop up and tell you this is your local office. Here in Nevada, we cover the whole state of Nevada. So we the clientele in Southern Nevada may be a little bit different than clientele in Northern Nevada, which may be a little bit different than clientele in rural Nevada. But the truth is, if you have a business, you're not doing this to fail. You're going into business to see it turn into a success. Mm-hmm. And our job is to be on that path with you and to guide you through that process. Think of us as a resource of resources. If we don't know the answer, we probably know someone who does.
You know where to point them.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
So if I'm a small business owner and I'm listening to this and I say, hey, I've never heard of the SBDC before, which does happen from time to time, right? What kind of services, like how does this work? How do they engage with you, and what can they expect from, a visit?
the Small Business Development Center actually has a website. A Nevada SBDC has a website. You can go to the website. You can say that you're interested in finding out more about us and what we do. Oh, by the way, and I hate to tell you this, but we don't charge you. So,
it's free.
Well, let me rephrase that because we don't charge you money, but we do ask two things of you. We ask that you sign up with us, and we ask that any surveys that we send out, that you honestly answer them. And the reason for that is that we want to make sure that we're meeting your needs. We don't know if we're meeting your needs if you don't tell us. The SBA doesn't know if we're meeting your needs if you don't tell us, which tells them. And that's how we get funded, so you don't have to go into your wallet.
Exactly. That's great. That's great. So what's the website again? It's NevadaSBDC.org. Okay, NevadaSBDC.org. That's where you can get on there and sign up for counseling.
Any place in the state, if you just put in your address, and it tells you all of the various locations.
Okay.
And then that location that is closest to you will be the one that pops up.
Wonderful. And then what can somebody expect from this? Is this just a one-off thing? You meet with you guys once, or how does this work?
Well, the most important meeting, I think, is the first meeting. And that's the meeting where you can say what it is you're looking to do. Yeah, I want to start a janitorial service. I really want to do commercial janitorial services, but I know that that's kind of hard to get into right away. So maybe if you can show me how to do residential right now so that I can move into janitorial. And these are the kinds of things that I do. And I'm not sure about the pricing, and I do need to get some equipment. So it's just a time to, and I use this term. Yeah, I use the term brain dump. Just dump it all out. Let's just put it all on the table, and then you and I, or the advisor and you, will sit there and figure out what the next step is, because everything we do is by steps. This is not a vague thing. This is not something that, I've got this idea and it's going to turn into money. Well, no, you have an idea that needs to turn into reality before it can turn into money.
Exactly. And this is not just a one-off deal.
Absolutely not. We're with you for the long term. As I said, Mike has been was my advisor for 15 years. Definitely that was not one-off.
No, it's you're in for the long term. So absolutely. So get signed up on the website, NevadaSBDC.org.
Right.
And you can get matched. They'll match you with a business advisor.
What will happen is that you will get an email at the email address that you put into the system, and that email address will tell you what the center is, who the person is, and that person's calendar link.
Okay.
The first thing that you need to do is make an appointment on that calendar link. Everything that we do is geared toward appointments. Appointments are necessary because if we're going to spend that time with you, we want to block that time off.
Exactly.
If you don't come to the calendar and you just decide, well, I happen to be in the neighborhood, I'll just walk in, somebody else who did put it on the calendar is there, and we can't see you.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that to you. So we actually
by appointment
want to meet
only.
You.
By
appointment.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. And then you also help existing business owners, correct?
Very much so.
Okay, so let's say you're in your existing business and you have some issues, which everybody does. You can come into the Small Business Development Center, to the SBDC. You can meet with an advisor.
Once you sign up
and you go through the sign-up process, you get assigned an advisor, and you can meet with them regularly to go over your business issues. They're like an extra set of eyes and ears on your management team. Right.
What you want to do within your business is, and we all know this, that sometimes we're so close to it that we don't see everything. And so bringing in that objective person, bringing in some opinions that are different than yours may not go down well with you the first time, but when you know that these people, me included, are coming to you from a place where we want you to succeed.
Exactly.
And so we're going to give you the best advice that we can give you based on the academics that we bring to the table. Many of us have not only bachelor's degrees, but also have master's degrees. Some even have PhDs. People who have had businesses of their own, like I am a business owner. There are people who were former business owners, but we've been where you are. And there are some things that we stepped in that we really don't want anybody else to step in. And we really want to help you. Oh, been there, done that, right?
Yep, been there, done that.
And so our purpose is to be there to support you.
Okay. See, and that's terrific. So it's free. It's confidential, correct?
It's at nothing out of your wallet, but you do have to sign
do
up.
some work.
And you do have to answer honestly to the surveys, and you do have to do your homework. I love giving homework.
That's, yes, there is homework every
Yes.
time.
Yes,
Every time.
because it's not our business.
Well, and yeah, so if you're an existing business and you're having some issues, it's a perfect thing to come in and talk and have somebody you can actually talk to.
Absolutely. Think about being a business owner, and you have a spouse. Is your spouse tired of you bringing business home to have that conversation, or would
Yep.
you rather be talking, or is it
don't
better
wanna
to
hear
talk
it.
about the family?
He doesn't want to hear it.
If you have a business partner, sometimes that conversation may be about the business partner, and you can't have the conversation with the business partner.
Yeah.
What if you are an individual and you don't have anybody else to talk to? You're not going to talk to your employees. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to get payroll done this week. That's not a conversation for employees.
Exactly.
Okay. So you need to have an outside source who is knowledgeable, understands the situation, and can give you clear and precise information.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. We give the information, you do the work.
Okay. You give them the path
Yes.
to where they need to go. That's good stuff. Now, I know Brenda's seen, I know you've seen in your career thousands of clients. I'd say tens of thousands of clients you've seen.
A few.
Yeah, just a few. When I was with the SBDC, I was over 10,000 small business clients that I saw with the SBDC, which is really kind of cool. You hear every type of crazy story, right? And I'm not going to ask you to share any. I'm going to share one.
Okay.
Right? I'm going to share one. And it's interesting because as an advisor, I had a couple came in and they were married. And as we're working together, the one spouse asked the other one, "Hey, honey, could you go put some change in the meter? I think I'm going to run out. Here's some change. Go put it in the meter." So he leaves. He goes outside. And she says, "This is all confidential, right?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "I'm considering a divorce. So how do I structure myself in this business?" And you can't tell him when he comes back in the room. And I'm like, "Okay.
Oh, no.
All right." And she's like, "You got like 2 minutes. So here we go." So yeah, because he was just going out and putting change. I said, "Okay, you got to do X, Y, and Z to protect yourself specifically." But I would recommend, working this through or talking it out or something like that. Right. So he comes back in the room, very awkward, right? For me, so I'm there and we're talking for another few minutes. And then the wife says, "I have to use the bathroom." So she gets up and leaves. She walks out of the room and the husband sits and he goes, "Oh, Mike, I don't know." And I said, "What's going on?" He says, "This marriage, I don't think it's going to work out." And I said, "Well, you may want to go with your gut on this, because I couldn't tell him anything that she had told me." And I said, "We'll try to work things out." And he goes, "How do I structure myself to protect myself if I do get divorced?" And here I am giving him the same advice I gave her, and they both left. And I went, "Wow, marriages are tough. So are businesses. Businesses are tough and partnerships are tough. I had another couple came in my office and they were fighting from the time I met them in the waiting room to walking in. They fought the whole time. They came in, sat down, and I said, "How long have you two been married for?" And they looked at me like, "We're not married. We're just business partners." I was like, "You fight like old married people. Like, what's the problem?" So you've kind of been there, seen it, done it.
It has happened a lot. I had a client once that his wife had retired, and she had actually retired from the same company that I used to work for. And she thought she was helping out by coming into his company and doing what she could do. And she frustrated the employees. She didn't really understand his business. She came from a corporate standpoint. She did not come from a small business standpoint. And so he said to me, "Is there a way that you can get my wife to stay out of here?" Because I had to live with her. Okay.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you know what? She doesn't have my children, and I'm not in love with her, so I can handle this."
It's tough running a business with your spouse. I don't care what it is.
It was difficult because that wasn't where they started. She had her own career. He had his own business. So she and I went to lunch one day. We were sitting around and we're talking, and she knew that I had worked where she had just retired. We talked about that. I asked her what she was planning on doing in retirement. And she says, "Well, my husband really needs me in the office." And I said, "No, that's not what I asked you.
Yeah.
I said, I asked you, what do you
want to
do? And she says, "Well, there's this flower shop down the street from where we live, and I'd really love to buy it." And I said, "Do you know anything about running a flower shop?" And she said, "A little." I said, "Okay, I'm going to give you some advice. This is free, okay? Go down, meet the owner of the flower shop, volunteer to go to work there. See if this is something that you'd really like to do. And then I said, "By the way, is the owner thinking of selling?" She goes, "Yes, she and I have already had this conversation." I said, "Great, then go volunteer."
That's great advice.
So she went to volunteer, and it was a couple days later, the husband comes into the office and he goes, "I need to see you." And I thought, "Oh, dear God, what did I do to this
what
family?"
did I do this time?
Right?
Yeah.
And so he says, "What did you say to my wife?" And I said, "Which time?" So he said, "I don't know what you said, but thank you so much. She told me that she doesn't have the time to come into the office anymore, and that she's going to do this other thing." He said, "I don't know what you did. I don't know what you said, but I am so grateful." And that's what I mean by having another set of eyes in a business, because there are things that you cannot have the conversation with someone that's close to you. You need to have the conversation with someone that has that distance and can see a little bit more than you can see.
Well, and quite often, I know in the SBDC with me, I would get people in to buy a business, let's say, and they're looking at financial records and things like that, and they're going, "Help me, I'm not sure if this is a good deal or not, or what." And, a lot of times we can't say, we can't tell somebody what to do, but we can say, "Hey, as a recommendation, as I'm looking at this business," or the SBDC can actually work the numbers for you and help you look at kind of what will this business be doing in 5 years type of thing if you continue on the same trajectory with sales and costs and expenses. And there were a couple situations I was like, "Yeah, this is a great business to buy if you'd like profitability in 20 years. Don't expect to pull anything out in 20 years unless you change a bunch of things, unless you increase sales or decrease your costs or whatever." But I know from time to time, we had people come in for, like, they're trying to buy a business and we're looking at something. And quite often, if you're trying to buy a business, I always say rule of thumb is make sure they disclose everything, right? We try to get them to it's just like when you buy a house, a real estate agent has to disclose, like, have you had termites? Is there, was there a person killed at the residence? That'd be kind of important to know. What's the HOA fees? I mean, there's a lot of stuff you have to disclose. Same thing when you're selling a business. And this is advice to anybody who's selling a business. You disclose everything. I mean, you give them warts and all, right? So 9 times out of 10, you'll see somebody trying to sell a business will give you the income statement. They'll leave out the balance sheet and the cash flow statements, and then they'll send you maybe an equipment list or something. And I had one client in particular that said, well, they're saying they don't have any debt. And I was like, it's interesting because they also gave the tax returns for like the last 3 years. So as we're scouring through the tax returns, there is an item called interest expense, right? And what does it mean when you're paying interest?
On no debt.
Yeah, supposedly there's no debt, but you're deducting the interest expense.
And I would
from
say,
IRS.
thank you. Just send it to me. Here's my name and address.
And I'm like, so I had to ask the client. I said, why do you pay interest? They're like, because somebody's borrowed money. I said, yep, the business has borrowed money. About how much? And we kind of estimated from the amount. I think the owner at the time probably had their personal residence tied up in the business. It was quite a substantial amount. So we kind of could go backwards into stuff. And we just said, hey, if they're paying interest, they're, if there's interest being paid, there's a loan in there. And so they're not fully disclosing this. So be careful,
As a business owner, and especially as we at the SBDC advisory group, we want the truth. We don't want you telling us what you think we want to hear.
Yep.
We want to hear the truth. Simple analogy is that your goal is to get to Minneapolis. Mm-hmm. That's a nice goal.
It's a great goal.
Problem is, we don't know where we're starting from. Are you going out from Las Vegas, or are you going out from St. Paul?
You're going via plane, train, or automobile too, right?
Strategy changes depending on where your starting point is. So I can give you a strategy for leaving Las Vegas, which does nothing for you because you're leaving St. Paul. Mm-hmm. And so you think I want to hear Las Vegas. What I really want to hear is the truth.
Yeah.
I can't help you without the truth. I don't want to say that you're telling me falsehoods, but you're telling me falsehoods. And it doesn't help either one of us because it sets you back and it wastes my time.
Yeah.
And there are other business owners out there who will be truthful and forthright because they want their businesses to move forward. And I'm missing out on them because I don't know that you're not telling me the truth. Truth is where the business begins, runs, and ends.
That is a great quote. Absolutely. And I've been there as an SBDC advisor. This happened a number of times. We also would go out in the community and visit businesses and things like that. And
Absolutely.
I had a client who owned a restaurant and had been in town for quite a few years, and it was seemingly well run until I spoke with the owners and found out that it had a lot of issues that we were dealing with. And so we started to kind of peel the layers back of the onion. We had a great initial session with them and working through some stuff. But a couple hours into the session, we're about to say goodbye. And they said, oh, yeah, one more thing. We have this tax issue. I'm like, what do you mean a tax? Like an IRS? No, a sales tax issue. I said, sales tax? Like, what are we talking about here? Well, they're garnishing. I was like, now we're talking about garnishment, right? That should have been your number one thing. We're like, hi, Mike, we got a problem. We're getting garnished right now, right? How do we work our way through this? It was everything else under the sun. And then, oh, by the way, we have this little problem. And I said, we need another 2 hours to go over this. Like, let's figure out what's going on. But truthfulness, you have to be truthful with your attorney, with your tax advisor, with your CPA, with your business advisors, with your insurance agent. All your team around you, you need to be truthful with.
The problem with that is that most people don't know how to be truthful with themselves.
Yeah.
Shakespeare was right, to thine own self be true. And for many people, that's a hard place to start, but that's the only place where we can start.
Exactly.
Because if you're true to yourself and you're telling yourself the truth about your reality, then when we have this conversation, we've already started. We're steps ahead.
Yeah.
We're steps ahead.
I like that. All right. We know We know why businesses fail.
Yes.
Why do businesses succeed?
Businesses succeed because, first of all, we tell the truth. Secondly, because we actually seek good advice.
Okay.
And one of the things that the SBDC is excellent at is being a resource of resources. So when you come to us and we have these conversations and you ask a question, like somebody may ask me, how do I get a loan? Mm-hmm. That's an open-ended question, and it's one that many, almost all businesses ask.
Yeah.
How do I get some money coming into my business? So again, we go back to what's the truth of your business? Where are you now? Mm-hmm. What's the projection? What's the goal that you have for your business? Now let's try to figure out all these other pieces that are there. Whenever you work with a professional, whether it is a tax preparer, an insurance agent, an attorney, make sure you have your documentation together. Your job is very simple. Not easy, simple. Your job is to make the professional look good. You're asking...
Wait, I got to make them look good?
Absolutely. You're asking them for their stuff. They're not asking you for yours. So if you come to me and I'm a funder, whether I'm a banker, whether I'm an investor, whether you put it on crowdfunding, the bottom line is you're asking me for something that I really cherish, which is my money. Mm-hmm. So you have to put yourself in the light that makes me say, this looks like it's worth it.
Yeah.
Make me look good.
Yeah.
Then you get what you want from me. If you don't make me look good, you don't get it. We're now in the middle of tax season. How many people go get their taxes done and they don't have their paperwork?
I'd say a lot.
And then they're asking the tax preparer to be a miracle worker. Mm-hmm. I only know of one that was a miracle worker, and he wasn't into taxes. Okay.
No, he wasn't.
So the whole point is that when we go to somebody to ask for help, make sure that we've put all our little, and I don't even call them ducks in a row. I put all our little cans in a row. I can do this. I can do that. I can do the other.
And no shoeboxes full of receipts. Nobody wants that.
When you bring a shoebox full of receipts, also bring a wallet full of cash.
Yeah.
Because somebody has to go through each one of those receipts.
Nobody's got time for that.
They've got to put it all into some kind of a format that makes it easy for the tax preparer to prepare the taxes.
Exactly.
So you will pay.
Interesting.
You will pay. So just think of from a simple standpoint. How can I help you help me?
Okay.
That's what you should be asking when you go to your anybody professional. If I'm going to look for insurance, how can I help the insurance agent help me? I need to know what I'm doing. I need to know where I'm going. I need to know what I'm looking for. I may not understand the insurance terms, but I understand the insurance need.
Exactly. Okay. Very good advice, Brenda.
Scary, huh?
I'm kind of impressed. This is So keep in mind the Small Business Development Center. It's a resource partner of the SBA, U.S. Small Business Administration.
And of the state. So GOED is here, the Governor's Office of Economic Development. Business and Industry is here, which is a great resource for those in Nevada who are trying to understand how business works. I highly recommend go to the Business and Industry website and look at their roadmap.
I think it's Business
and Industry.
Business.nv.gov, I believe, is their web address, I believe.
The director will be very upset with me because I can't remember the website,
I'm pretty
so I
sure
hope you're right.
Business.nv.gov. We love you, Marcel.
It's a great place. So you will find it. If you can't find the website, you can always put in Business and Industry Nevada, and it will pop up.
And they have the roadmap on there, which
the
leads
roadmap is fantastic.
It's a downloadable PDF.
Yes.
We had Marcel on a show just recently, and we reviewed that. And it's been
excellent.
a great thing.
Yeah, I use that as a resource all the time, and to even tell my clients who have been in business for a while, take a look at the roadmap and see where you are on the roadmap.
Yeah, exactly.
You may not be at the starting point. You may be midway through something, or you may have something that has popped up that you're not exactly sure what to do. It's on the roadmap.
You might be better off than you think you are.
Yes.
That's a little scary sometimes.
Yes.
One thing I've noticed about entrepreneurs is one of the things I think that makes a good entrepreneur is they make good gut decisions probably 75% of the time. Whether people can see it or not, they take risks appropriately to jump into certain industries and do certain things. They look at a building and say, I could put this here. They look at a product or a service and say, I could sell this. I can do this. And that's what makes entrepreneurs different, which is great.
They really are different. And a lot of what they do is gut. And what we try to add to that is knowledge.
Very good. I like that. So I know we talked a little bit about getting your cans in a row, right? It wasn't ducks, it was cans.
That's right. Leave those little duckies
alone.
Leave the
duckies alone. But so Brenda, it's always good to be prepared, right? And
absolutely.
A lot of times as small business owners, we're not quite fully prepared during the PPP loan process. You had to have your paperwork in order, and a lot of people just didn't.
A lot of people didn't even understand what in order meant.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a book that I recommend, not only because a friend of mine was a co-writer, but because the book is good. It is called From Beauty to Business. It is available on Amazon. Yes, I did just do an ad. And it's worth it because it walks you through from a business start through a business success.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the quotes that's in there is from Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, P. Diddy. Okay, so whatever his name is now. But he says that stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And that is such a powerful thought.
Mm-hmm.
And as business owners, if we did that, we would be miles ahead in our businesses.
Absolutely. It reminds me of in Point Loma in San Diego, the military has a training facility out there. And on the wall of it is painted in giant letters. It says, the more we train in peace, the less we bleed in war.
That works for me. I worked for the military for 10 years.
You know how they work.
I thoroughly believe in that. If we keep ourselves where we're supposed to be,
mm-hmm.
our paperwork, our mindset, our business policies, our practices, how we treat our customers, we're on the road to success.
That's all good. Thank you. That was very good. Very good. Any final words? Any final pieces of advice?
Well, since I work for the Small Business Development Center, if you need some help, please contact us. We're more than willing to help you. We have advisors statewide. If you're not in the state of Nevada, we have advisors nationwide. We're here to help.
And it's nevadasbdc.org.
Yes.
Is the website where you can sign up for business assistance.
Absolutely.
And, take this step on the journey. You need people in your camp. You need good advisors. And the SBDC, I think, is one of the core programs that we have in the state that helps people out, along with SCORE, the Women's Business Center. And it's a wonderful thing. So, Brenda, thank you so much for coming on with us today. So,
my pleasure.
It's all good. In just final parting words, do you have one final piece of advice for people?
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Stay ready so you don't have to get it. That was a great quote. It really was. I was hoping for something else, but you know.
I'm just stealing it from him. You just don't tell him I did that.
Be prepared, man. It's the Boy Scout motto.
That's right.
That's what I grew up with.
I'm sorry, Girl Scout motto too.
Is the Girl Scout motto too?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That was good. It's always good. Brenda, it's always good talking to you. Brenda Bryant, Brenda Gayle Bryant. I botched your name. Brenda Gayle Bryant from the Nevada Small Business Development Center. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
My pleasure.
So for everybody out there, I'm Mike with the Small Business Education Program, UNR Extension. Thank you for joining us on the BizLife Podcast, and go do something great in your business today.